You know, we hear it every year. The NHL is getting younger, faster, flashier, and there's more skill than ever. And there is. But here we are in 2025, and the old guys, the 35 plus crowd, they're still running the show. Sidney Crosby's still doing Crosby things, and no one expected anything less. Brad Marchand out in Florida doesn't have his flip-flops up sitting in the sand. He's on pace for 50 goals. And Jonathan Quick is still stealing games. So as much as the NHL is evolving, the old guard is still producing and are key members to their team, which is very important to remember. Like number 87, who I just mentioned, Sidney Crosby, 38 years old. He's got 11 goals, which is good for fourth in the NHL. 20 points. He's one of the top offensive producers in the game today still. And one of the main reasons why the Penguins have had this resurgence and why they're not at the bottom of their division, which they were at this time last season. They're top 3 in the Metro. Okay, they're sliding a bit now. They lost 4 or 5, but still, they wouldn't be in this position. They'd probably be out of a playoff race right now if it wasn't for someone like Sidney Crosby and another player I will mention on this list. How about Brad Marchand out in Florida? 37 years old. He's tied with Crosby for goals with 11. He's been bumped up to the first line with Matthew Tkachuk out and Barkov out. He's got 10 goals at 5-on-5. 10 of his 11 goals have come at 5-on-5, and he's on the number 1 power play. So he isn't just cherry-picking goals on the top PP unit. He's producing at 5-on-5. And I didn't expect this. I know, obviously, he's a good player. But I thought, listen, the guy's 37. He just signed a 6-year deal worth $5.25 out in Florida. I thought maybe you're going to see some regression, but no. He's legit on pace for 56 goals right now. Now, will this pace continue? Probably not, but maybe it will, because if you watch some of his goals, especially the one he just scored against Vegas the other night, he looks like he's prime and ready to go. It's unbelievable what these guys are doing. And speaking about prime and ready to go, how about John Tavares in Toronto? 35 years old. He's got 9 goals, 20 points, tied with Crosby, which is top 10 in the NHL. And he just signed a great deal for Toronto. 4 years at $4.38 million. Anybody in the league would bite your hand off for that contract based on the way that John Tavares is playing. The Leafs have their problems, no doubt. But one of them is not John Tavares. And I just wonder, and I'll get to what I think the motivation for some of these players are. I just wonder if Johnny T thinks, man, if I just keep doing what I'm doing and I play well to start the season, maybe I'll sniff a spot on the Olympic roster for Canada. Just maybe. He's been on there before. So that could be his motivation. How about Chris Kreider out in Anaheim? 34 years old. He's got 9 goals. Anaheim's one of the best teams in the NHL. One of the best stories in the NHL. Top of the Pacific Division. Now, it's not all because of Chris Kreider. Obviously not, but he's a key contributor to that team. And he's huge as a veteran to that young core. Joel Quenneville said it himself. And what's crazy about this is the Rangers and Chris Drury could not wait to get this guy out of New York. You tell me they couldn't use him now? They're struggling to score goals at home. The crowd's on him. They love Chris Kreider and Jacob Trouba, for that fact, who's having a good season himself. Corey Perry, 40 years old. The second oldest player in the NHL, I believe. 7 goals in 10 games. And he's got a fight. He fought A.J. Greer of the Panthers. You tell me the Oilers wouldn't love Corey Perry back on their team right now, especially after losing 9-1 to the Avs, and they didn't even lay a glove on anyone on that Colorado team. He would have been right in the mix. And here he is scoring 7 goals in 10 games. And I just wonder if he has a thought, hey, maybe, just maybe, it's a long shot, I can make that Olympic team. Probably not. But you have to think some of these guys are thinking that way because they're professionals and this is what they do. Evgeny Malkin, Crosby's running mate for his entire career, basically. 39 years old, on the last year of his deal. He is the league leader in assists. Evgeny Malkin at 39 leads the league in assists. Just think about that right now. He's having a great season. And let me just say, if this season ends up going pear-shaped for Pittsburgh, which it still could, or let's say they make it close, they make a wild card, which would be unbelievable. It'd be a huge shock. I don't think that's going to happen. They got problems. They got injury problems, goaltending problems, yada, yada, yada. But you tell me Malkin's motivation isn't, hey, listen, I'm 39 years old. It's my last year. I'm not going back to Pittsburgh. At least it doesn't look that way. Another team would sign me. Why not? Every team in the NHL needs a 2C or a middle six center. Malkin. You tell me the Kings wouldn't want him next season after Kopitar leaves? Or a team like Boston right now? I mean, I don't know. I'm just saying. Every team needs a 2C. If Evgeny Malkin, I mean, you could do a lot worse. And you get him on a 1 or 2 year deal, I think Malkin might be looking at something like that too, and he's playing fantastic. A couple other guys I want to mention. Maybe not at the top of the list in terms of points or goals or offensive production, but Brent Burns, 40 years old, he's playing 20 minutes a night on a contender, the Colorado Avalanche, which I will say right now, as of November 11th, Remembrance Day, here in Canada, that's the best team in the NHL. That team, as of right now, is my favorite to win the Stanley Cup. And Brent Burns is a key part of that. At 40 years old, the guy plays every single game. The guy doesn't get injured. Still playing 20 minutes a night. Shout out Brent Burns. And the last guy I want to mention, I mentioned him off the top, Jonathan Quick. He's not a number one goal anymore. He's a backup to one of the best goalies in the NHL, in Igor Shesterkin. He's 39 years old. He started 4 games this year for the Rangers. He's got 3 wins, 1 loss where he allowed only 1 goal. That was against the Capitals. And the reason I think they lost that game is because the Rangers just can't score at home. They just did. But at that time, they were in this drought where they just couldn't find the back of the net at MSG, which is the craziest thing of all time. And he's also got a shutout. Through 4 starts, 1.26 goals against, a .950 save. It's pretty incredible that somebody who's done so much in the game, like Johnny Quick, like Brent Burns, and the rest of these guys are still able to put out fantastic performances and are able to hang in this league, which gets faster and more skilled every single season. And this is props to all the young guys. Celebrini, Carlson, Bedard, Cutter Gauthier. Props to all those guys. Matthew Schaefer, for sure. But the old guard is still here and they're still playing well, and they deserve their props as well. So I look at all this and I'm like, what's driving these guys? What's the motivation? Outside of winning and outside of being a professional, I think some of these guys want to be on the Olympics, or want to play in the Olympics, I should say. I mean, a guy like Chris Kreider, for sure. I mentioned John Tavares, Marchand. Crosby's going to be on the team. I mean, Malkin can't do that because Russia's not in it, but he could be playing for another contract. Brent Burns, I'm not sure when Brent Burns is going to stop playing hockey. I feel like he's a guy who's going to play until he's 50. I think he's got at least 3 or 4 more years left in him. I don't know if he's eyeing an Olympic spot. Maybe he is. He's not going to get it based on the defensemen that Canada have, but hell of a hockey player. Johnny Quick is just doing his job. So there is some added motivation for some of these guys. For others, this is just what they do, and they continue to do it. And it's incredible to see. So let me know in the comments below, who's impressed you the most this season out of all the players that I mentioned? Talk about the older guys, the 35-plus crowd or the 30-plus crowd. Who's impressed you the most? And comment below, who did I miss? I'm sure there's some players who are playing well who are not getting the same recognition maybe as some of these guys. So let me know in the comments, and thanks for watching.